Hey, Jay Marshall here. Let's look at grade setup in Schoology. That's right. We need to make sure that grades are pulled into areas at the end of each grading period. And there are some things we have to do to make sure this is a success. So let's get started. If we go to grade setup on the left-hand side, you will see that the gradebook scale that has been chosen by default is numeric. Now, we cannot leave numeric as the gradebook scale because when pulled, it will not convert the grades to a letter grade. So one way we can check this is to go to our gradebook. After we have some grades in it, you'll see there is not a letter grade to be found. So if we were to have these grades pulled into Aries, it wouldn't know what to do. So there's no letter grade here. It won't work. We're going to fix that. Let's go back to grade setup. We have two choices. You can choose the 7 to 12th grade option. That's the 7 to 12th grade standard. That's the one we use in the district. That is the standard. If I click over here on the right side, you will see that it's 90 to 100 as an A, 80 to 89 as a B, and so on. Okay, so that works great. We could select that as our final grade settings. Or we can create our own scale. Let's say you use standards-based grading. To create your own scale, you go to the top right corner and select Add and choose Scale. We're going to leave this as percentage, and we're going to type in a title. Okay. Now we can begin typing in our letter grades. And then we will type in our range. So standards based, we're looking at 85 to 100 as an A, 70 to 85 a B, 5 to 70, 40 to 55, and 0 to 40. So this is perfect. This is our scale for our final grade setting. So if a student ends up with a 79%, that student will get a B. Lovely. You might be wondering what this is all about, letter conversion. So as you can see, the little pop-up that appears when you enter the letter grade into the gradebook, this will be the percentage value used. Now, you could type in your own percentage or just select use average. If I try to save this, watch what happens. It won't let me. I have to have this entered. So I'm going to choose use average. So again, what this does is if I use the standards-based scale for assignments, then when I enter a letter grade, if I enter a letter grade of A, it will use 92% as the percentage. If I enter a D, it will use 47%. So this is only useful for assignments. If I'm not going to use the standards-based scale for assignments, but instead only for my final grade settings, this does not come into play. And I'll show you how this looks in a second. The letter grade, only show letter grade is only if you use this scale for an assignment. It will show the letter grade only, not the percentages. If you are using this scale only for your final grade settings that pull into Aries, this does not come into play. So for now, I'm going to save my changes. So you can see that I have this new scale over here, standards based. If I want to make this my final gradebook scale, I can go down to this drop down and select standards based. Now, before I leave this screen, I can scroll down. I can do some of these other settings here. I can check to hide overall grade periods. I can create a grade period override column. That's right. This is kind of cool because at the end of the grading period, you'll have the option in the Schoology gradebook to change the final grade. So let's say a student has been working really hard and they really brought their grade up and they had an 88%. And you want to give that student an A just because they've shown such great improvement. You can do it here in Schoology in the gradebook. Now, after the grades pull into Aries, you can also do this same step in Aries, but it's kind of nice to have it in Schoology gradebook. Yeah, so you would select grade period override columns to have that feature enabled. Let's save the changes. Okay, so now we can go back. If you remember, I mentioned that you want to make sure that you see a letter grade appear, and that will let you know that this will pull into Aries correctly. So let's go to gradebook, and now you will see that there is a letter grade for the overall grade. We also have an override column that we can use later at the very end of the grading period if we would like to. Let's go in and switch this scale just to show you something here. If I switch this to standards based and I save it. So now I'm using standards based on this particular assignment. It's a 100-point assignment. If I want to enter a grade here, and let's say I enter a B, it will convert it to 77%. That was that letter conversion. Remember, 85 to I'm sorry, it was 70 to 85 is the B range. So it took that average, which was 77. Now, if I instead decided that I wanted to enter 85, of course, it overrides that letter conversion. So the letter conversion is only if you're using it again as an assignment scale and you are typing in the letter grade, it will convert that for you into a percentage, which was that 62%. Okay, so far, so good. Now, last thing, we can go ahead and look at the copy settings button. Let's go back to grade setup. This copy settings is great if you want to utilize this grade setup in your other courses. So if I click this, I can select the other courses that I would like to apply it to. Okay, select all my courses here and then copy, and it will copy these settings so you don't have to redo them so many times. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope you have a great day. And again, as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to edtech@nmusd.us.